Thanks for the support as a channel member, Sparklebot. Halfway through the season, and this is a weird National League this year because as much as I moaned, I think in yesterday's episode, about teams spending more money than us, there's probably 7 or 8 teams that all seem roughly as good as each other. We're one of them, and no one is really taking the lead and pulling out at the top of the table like they usually do. This feels like it might be an opportunity. Hello and welcome to part 42 of Bourne Again. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 games for you. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. We have to look at all these home games in a row we've got. This game's so weird. All these home games and all these away games. Who does these fixtures? We're at home against Aldershot, at home against Woking. This is what's been going on since you were last with me. And this is what I'm talking about everyone kind of beating everybody else. We beat Dulwich Hamlet, but we then lost to Boston. We beat South Shields, and if we look at the league table, we're all kind of in the mix. In fact, South Shields aren't. I thought they were. South Shields not having a very nice time at all, despite spending all the money that they spend. But this is the top of the table. Boston are top. We've all played different numbers of games as well. It's a very unusual looking league table. What I was saying in the intro might not be strictly true. Now I've seen that Boston have got 2 games in hand on most of the other teams around them. Not us, only 1 game in hand on us. But if they win both of those, Boston are pulling out at the top of the table. But hopefully, we're going to be in a position to catch them. It's all these postponements that's causing the problem. We've had a number of games called off for waterlogged pitches. Seems to be very wet in the winter of 2027. Brace yourselves for it. But we're in 5th place. We're only 4 points off the top of the league. They've only got 1 game in hand on us, and we do have home games to play. And as you can see, Jacob Quinn scoring lots of goals, playing very well again. Less so Bond, although Bond has started to come into some form again in the last couple of games, getting a hat-trick there, although 2 of them were penalties. And that's the only time he's scored for quite a while. My word. Remember when this guy was tearing this division up? I mean, he's still doing all right, 11 goals, but it's a little bit different from his goal-scoring prowess last year. And you can see he's not playing as well either, which is weird because he's got the same man alongside him who, if anything, is playing even better this year. He is playing even better this year. It's become the Jacob Quinn show. I need to try and sign this lad permanently. Right, this is the team that we're putting out there for the first of today's 2 games against Aldershot. We've got Anang in goal, a back 4 of Mark Sheffield, Bedwell, Dorset and Shaw Sainsbury, Bradshaw, Broadbent, Robinson and Harmon in midfield, and then Quinn and Bond up front, as usual. They are the only 3 players who are doing any good. Bradshaw, who came in as our new star, Bond and Quinn. The rest of the squad struggling for form, really. This doesn't look like a team that's going to win the league. But it's like I say, it's one of those weird seasons where no one is really looking like that. So if we can either get another midfielder or 2 into some real top form, or stumble across a really good midfielder, because we've got loads of wage budget to spend, then I do feel like in the second half of this season we've got the potential to really push for promotion. But we definitely need to keep an eye on Boston, our local rivals, who've already beaten us once. We've still got to play them again. And I suspect they probably are looking at that league table as it looks right now and fancying their chances a bit. Although they're not miles ahead like York were last year, like South Shields were the year we came up. So fingers crossed we can keep ourselves in the hunt. Harmon with the cross. It misses everybody, and Matt Bradshaw's there to tuck it in at the far post. Only a 2nd goal of the season for him. I've just noticed he's got a soul patch. This changes everything. But that's only... I would expect him to weigh in with a few more goals. He does create a lot. He does... Everything sort of comes down this left-hand side usually, but I would expect him to weigh in with a few more goals, and hopefully he will as we move into the second half of the season. As you can see, that goal puts us up to 2nd place as it stands at the moment. Just 1 point behind Boston, and we'll just ignore those 2 games in hand that they've got over us and hope that they lose them. So it is important that we keep our winning run going, because we want to apply that pressure. I've always said I'd rather have position than games in hand. At the moment, Boston have both, but you know I'm not going to be upset about being 2nd in the league just after the halfway point of the season. So if we can keep doing as we're doing, all we can do is win our own games. And if and wait for Boston to have a little bit of a slip up. Robinson now plays it back to Dorset. Dorset forward to Quinn, but he can't quite get there. But Dorset has another go at it. Tries to release Harmon on the right-hand side. Their left back doesn't really control it very well, but it's gone all the way back to their keeper. And this is one of those weird highlights where nothing seems to be happening. So I assume there's a goal for somebody coming. But at the moment, it's just kind of going back and forth between the two midfields. Harmon now on the right-hand side. Robinson across to Broadbent, who's got space, finds Harmon. He's got an overlap there with Shaw Sainsbury, who fight big, deep cross from Shaw Sainsbury. Falls to Bradshaw in space again. And it's a decent effort and a good save from the Aldershot goalkeeper. And that was a weird highlight because it showed us a lot. I guess we got a good shot at the end of it. But normally, from that sort of thing, you would expect there to be a goal. Free kick now with Harmon on the right-hand side, floats it over. Broadbent was the closest there, I think. But he didn't end up coming away with the ball. Weirdly picks out Dorset, the one player of everybody on the pitch. What's the point of giving it to him in this scenario? Harmon across to Robinson. Robinson releases Bradshaw on the left-hand side again. Cross comes over. Harmon's there. He's trying to return the favour from the first goal, which was a Harmon cross that Bradshaw tucked away, and it very nearly worked. But we've got a corner just as we're about to hit half-time. Bradshaw with the in-swinger. It comes over. It beats that first man again. But bearing in mind, we've got two very good strikers in our team. Neither of them getting in that 6-yard box to get on the end of a tasty little in-swinging corner like that one. We just need to be a little bit smarter with what we're doing. So, into the second half. We've got 520 fans here. This is lovely stuff. Harmon down the right-hand side again. Cross comes over. Quinn is there. And it's a very good save from what is now an injured goalkeeper. Has he been injured the whole game? Or has he picked up an injury as things have gone on? Quinn plays it back to Bedwell. Bedwell to Broadbent. Forward to Bradshaw. Flicks it on pretty aimlessly. I don't really know what he's trying to do there. And now Aldershot come away with the ball again. It feels like we've got extended highlights under this game. For a 1-0, we're getting so many highlights. And so many of them just aren't really leading anywhere. I don't really understand why we're getting to see so much of this kind of play. I'm not complaining. It's quite interesting to watch. But it's just a little bit weird. Shot from range, Anang saves, and there's nobody in that seated area behind that goal. What was the point? We spent a lot of money pretending to build those seats that were already there, and nobody sits them. It looks like we don't even open that end of the ground for the majority of our home games, which has got to be against the regulations. If we had to build seats to meet the regulations, surely we have to have them open on match day as well. Bond passes it through to Quinn. That was a lovely little move between Quinn and Bond. The flick down from Quinn. Bond plays it back to him. Quinn was in, but I think the whole move started a little bit too far away from the goal, and Quinn kind of ran out of puff before he got there. Another wasted corner and a chance for a counter-attack for Aldershot, but luckily comes to nothing. They're uninterested. That feels like an opportunity for me to tell the boys to get creative. Apparently, that's how he's telling the team to get creative, putting pressure on my goalkeeper. I don't understand. Right, throw for Aldershot, and we intercept, but it comes back to them. They're trying to line up another long-range shot again. They know Anang. They're familiar with his work, and there is a long-range goal into the top corner. It's the way to score against this goalkeeper. He is susceptible to that kind of thing, and it looks like they had us scouted. 65 minutes on the clock. It's now 1-1. It drops us back down to 4th place. I mean, it's a good goal, but let's go to a bit more positive. We're going to make some changes and then ask for 10 minutes of passion. Quinn having a very poor game today, so we're going to bring on Zach Cotton for him, who has rarely had an opportunity to come into the team as a striker. He usually comes on as a winger, but we'll try a target man. You know, we're playing wing play. Let's try having a winger as well. We're going to bring on Sean Dootson and push Bedwell out to left back. Why have you got a left back on the bench if you're going to do that, Kev? Excellent question. I don't have an answer for you. Let's have 10 minutes of passion with the changes. First chance of seeing Cotton playing as a striker, and Cotton has scored fairly regularly at this level for the last few years. So there are goals in him, not quite to Bond and Quinn levels, but they're not playing well today. Harmon with the cross, looking for Cotton. Cotton heads just over. It was a good opportunity and really should have been a goal. Should at least be testing the keeper. You shouldn't be heading over from inside the 6-yard box in situations like that. We're going to take off Robinson, bring on Gleeson, and just shuffle the midfield around a little bit so he can be the ball-winning midfielder just there. Broadbent can then push forward a little bit more. And what should we do? Should we get creative? How good are Aldershot? Aldershot are... I can't even see them. Does that mean... Aldershot are second in the league. All of a sudden, my opinion on this game has changed a little bit because in the 83rd minute, I've realised that Aldershot are potentially better than we are and we're actually doing really quite well. Bedwell in a crossing position. Cross comes over. Bond is there. It ends up with Harmon back to Bond, and Bond has his 14th goal of the season. And there's a little bit of luck involved here because I think the initial cross, Bond, I don't think he's trying to flick it on, but he kind of misheads it. It ends up out with Harmon, who just gives it straight back to him and says, look, you're supposed to score from that. Maybe it is a deliberate flick on, but a weird one. Harmon gives it back to him. Bond scores, and it's 2-1 to Bourne. We're going to drop back to our balanced mentality for these last 5 minutes. And this all of a sudden, I'm much more positive than I was before because this is an excellent result against another one of these teams who are in and around this area where I said we're all beating each other. And there's another example of it. We've just beaten another team who are in this mix, and we're now 1 point off the top of the table. And on Boxing Day, we play Woking, I think. Where are Woking in amongst all this? Woking are a team we should beat, hopefully. Right, we're shuffling things around slightly for the Woking game. Richard Randall coming back in up front at the expense of Bond. It's been a while since you've seen him. Remember when he used to score lots of goals back then, and then we kind of never really played him. Well, he's still here, and we're going to try him. Just try something a little bit different. I remember him being a goal scorer. Looking at that history, I wonder if my memory is a little bit wrong. So he got 10 goals that year, 6 goals that year. He only played once that year, and he's played 3 times off the bench this year. Am I thinking of the same player? We're going to try him anyway. You never know. He might score. Why has he been here 4 years if he's not any good? Right. Team talk. We should win. There you go. Did we lose the last time we played this lot? Then we absolutely should be avenging what happened last time because we shouldn't be losing against these jokers. Right. So Boston we've got a full set of fixtures today. Boston are actually playing, but they've got a relatively simple game as well against Harrogate, who are, don't even know where they're down there. So I would expect Boston to win. So I don't think we're going top of the league today, as much fun as it would be. Orient smashing Morecambe, which again, teams in this mix beating each other. They're already 2-0 up against them. But Boston seemingly not yet ahead against Harrogate in their game. But then we're not ahead in ours either. We're just about to hit half time, and we've not even had a highlight until that one. I've literally spent the entirety of the first half just having a little look at the league table. That has been a little bit pathetic. Let's aggressively say not happy with performances out there. We're going to go to our more positive mentality, and we need a breakthrough. And maybe Richard Randall wasn't the man. Maybe we get Bond back in the team. It's really, I wanted to get Bond just to give him a little bit of a shock into shape. I know he scored in the last game, but it's been a long time since he's looked like the same Matthew Bond as last year. So I just want to jolt him back into some form. Look at the state of that. Imagine having to watch this game of football. Nothing's happening. We're literally just kicking the ball around in the middle and kicking it back and forth to each other looking at this. It might be the worst game of football anyone's ever played. Anang actually making a save from long-range effort is always a positive. We've got a lot of fans in here again, another 560 people. But again, nobody behind the goal. Sports Interactive, if you're watching, and you should be, how realistic is it in non-league football for there to be no one behind the goal at either end of the pitch? That's where football fans like to stand and sing. Quinn is in. Quinn can't get the shot away. He had 2 bites of the cherry there, and neither of them managed to fill his mouth with cherry. I don't understand how that analogy works. Robinson clears to Randall. Randall looking to turn, finds Robinson. Shaw Sainsbury on the overlap on the right-hand side, and we've got options in the middle. One of them is Jacob Quinn. The other one is Bradshaw. He's got himself into some space, but that was terrible first touch. He kind of just turned round backwards really slowly. Broadbent back to Bradshaw. Broadbent and Bradshaw just knocking it back and forth to each other. Mark Sheffel now. Cross. finds Harmon and Harmon scores. Finally, we have the breakthrough and he celebrates with a neat little forward roll. It's Bourne 1, Woking 0. I haven't looked for a little while what's been going on in the Boston game, but we might have just gone top of the league as a little Christmas present. It's Boxing Day. Are we top? We're top of the league on Boxing Day, boys and girls. What a time to be alive. We've got a throw. It's Mark Sheffield. Plays it forward to Bradshaw. Mark Sheffield again. Big ball forward for Quinn to turn and run. Very positive running from Quinn. Good solid shot straight into the hands of the Woking goalkeeper. And I think we have another corner. And we're going to be bringing Bond on very, very soon. He's had enough time to think about what he's done with Randall in the team, showing that there's a reason he hasn't played for a long time. What we don't have is the reason why he's still at the club. Robinson is going to... We'll bring... You know what? We'll stick Dootson in midfield. Dootson can stand and do the ball-winning midfielder thing. He can do that in there and everyone will be happy. 2 changes. We should probably... you know what? We're not going to drop back from the positive system. We're only 1-0 up. This is a team we should be beating. So we'll continue trying to attack and hopefully not end up regretting it. Boston still not ahead in their game against Harrogate is a surprise. Hopefully this is the start of the Boston bottle job. Anang, spectacular way to collect a fairly aimless free kick from Woking and now lumps it forward in the vague direction of Jacob Quinn. It gets nowhere near him, but Quinn, showing what a good pressing forward he is, wins the ball back, gets another good shot away. He seems to just be hitting it really hard straight into the keeper, though, at the moment, whereas I'd rather he hit it slightly less hard, but maybe tried to get round the keeper. It's like he's just trying to smash through him, which is an unusual change of tactic for a man who's traditionally scores a lot of goals. Cotton is going to come on as the final change. You know what? We'll bring him on for Quinn, and we'll stick Cotton up front as that target man again, alongside Bond. We've got 2 very big lads up front now. Just bombard them with crosses. I know it's what the tactic is already supposed to be, but we don't seem to be doing it. How do I get them to do more wing play when we're already doing a wing play tactic? We are built perfectly for wing play now. Dootson plays it out to Harmon, who tries to beat his fullback and get the crossover. He does the first one, kind of does the second one. It wasn't really a cross though, and you just need to float the crosses in from deep. We need to float the crosses in from deep. That's how you do it. I should add that on as an instruction. Bond with a flick onto Cotton. Cotton plays Harmon in. This is more like it. Harmon beats his man. He's got no one up supporting him, though. Both of the strikers were too involved in the build-up play and didn't manage to get there in time and keep up with what was going on. Cross comes over looking for Cotton, but he can't get there ahead of the Woking keeper, who just lumps it down our right-hand side to where they have no players. It's one of the stranger clearances I've seen. It's like he just wanted the ball far away from all players because then he's less likely to concede. I don't think that was necessarily the kick of a team player. Bradshaw flicks it on looking for himself, and the ball ends up all the way back with the Woking keeper again, who, if true to character, he's just going to try and lump it into open space. But this time actually finds a yellow shirt. And we need to get a tackle in here because they're looking a little bit dangerous. And somebody get a tackle in. Anang looking solid as ever, and Bedwell just lumps it clear, and they've got a corner. There's only 2 minutes left on the clock. We have dropped back down to second, so Boston must have gone ahead in their game. Bedwell again clears. Oh my goodness me. I can't even fathom what has just happened there. Where is Anang in all of this? So, corner. It's cleared. It's hit back in. Everyone's beaten. It's come back off the post. And there's a fella there to just tap it over the line. Where are our defenders? I don't think we can even blame the keeper there because there's a lot of players between him and the man taking the shot. I can understand him seeing it late. But as soon as that hits the post, we should have defenders in there clearing it. And we didn't. And now we're level on points at the top of the league with both Boston and Port Vale. Boston have 3 games in hand on both of us, though, and a better goal difference. Then just behind us, there's Orient and Aldershot, just 1 point behind. Dulwich Hamlet, just a point behind them. And even Telford and Morecambe will feel like they're still in the title race here. Morecambe only 4 points off top of the league, but not even in the playoffs as it currently stands. This is going to be a very tight second half of the season. So we will come back for that double header. I mean, it jumps out at me immediately. Dulwich Hamlet and Boston as a doubleheader. That will be tomorrow's video. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.